Syrian interim authorities. And then they sent back in writing a response saying we have done some of these things and then we're working on other things. So what is the U.S. assessment at the moment on Syrian interim authorities' progress? And was there any, because they want a clear roadmap for permanent sanctions relief. Was that somehow like discussed in that meeting, and did you guys give them a clear timeline on when that would happen?
Obviously, I can't tell you that, but you got to ask. I understand that. Look, I think we can all determine what the framework is and if it has been met when there's action. So I don't want to, I can't say what I was just going to say. Because it was, no, I know I could, but I won't. I shouldn't. So there's things you can do, and then there's things you should do.
So it does sound
but
like
no,
the U.S. is not that satisfied.
No, do not draw conclusions, which sometimes people tend to do. My point is that if you're wondering, when our requirements, of which I've detailed some of, are met, you will see action from this government. If there is no action from this government, we would have to presume that that's, that certain things haven't been met yet. As far as to what was discussed in New York, that can't be discussed. I certainly have not been told what the details are of that particular meeting. And if I was, even though you're wonderful, I would not share it with you. I'm sorry. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. No. But yes, in the white shirt. Yes, sir.
I'll move to Gaza if you don't mind.
Of course, please, sure, certainly.
For 2 months now, there have been a blockade of Gaza, that no aid is coming in from the Israelis. There is so many reasons for that, I understand. But the president a few days ago said that food and medicine should enter Gaza.
Yes, he did. He said more than that, even.
Yeah. But the Israelis are not, doesn't seem that they are listening yet. I mean, food is still not there. There is a lot of signs inside Gaza, according to a lot of international organizations, a sign of famine growing in Gaza, fear of famine is growing in Gaza. Whether the administration is doing more to push or pressure the Israelis to allow.
Well, obviously at this point, we've, as I've noted, we've always, we have a policy. We want the aid to resume. We want humanitarian supplies and assistance to resume, as long as it can be safely moved in and there's no looting and people aren't getting mugged and it's not being stolen. And I mean, there are some standards about when you're going to send somebody into essentially a war zone. And I don't think that's a very high bar. At the same time, what are we doing? Well, the President of the United States is engaging in this as well. We have wonderful envoys, people who have changed the world and saved people's lives and get the impossible done. And then you have Donald Trump, who said in more detail, I have it for you here. He said regarding Gaza, we've got to be good to Gaza. These people are suffering. There is a very big need for medicine, food, and we are taking care of it. How that is manifesting, and we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, I can't give you those details. But when the President of the United States is describing and effectively announcing that action is being taken, and especially this president, you know that is happening, the details of which I can't share with you. I know that, of course, we stand with Israel. They are one of our greatest allies. Our relationship with them is excellent, and we work with them and support them in what their needs are. But in this case, I think we have the best answer regarding the attitude of the United States, and that comes from President Trump. Yes, sir. Behind you, sir. Behind you, sir. Yes, behind you, sir. Sir, this is not going to end. Saeed, we will, please, I've never had to do it. Saeed, I've never had to do it, and I will do it. Saeed, there are many other people here, obviously many also who have concerns about the same city or have different kinds of questions and want the same kinds of answers. This is not the 5th grade. This is the State Department of the United States. You're here. It is a privilege. I like, Saeed, I see you during the gaggles and every day, and I like you very much. And I understand your passion, but you are not directing this conversation or this room.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, please go.
Do you believe that the recent mineral deal with Ukraine sends a clear message to those who have accused President Trump of being sympathetic to Russia?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of media that goes on when you're dealing with issues of negotiations. The answer, of course, is not to not speak to people, and that was the idea and the theory for the last administration, where Russia wasn't spoken to for at least 3 years, and so even a lot of heat of the idea of speaking to Putin. There was a lot of heat when he went to visit Kim Jong-un, but Secretary Rubio is very similar when it comes to what President Trump's view is that people have to be spoken with, face to face, one-on-one. That diplomacy is about human beings making arrangements, talking about things, finding a common ground. And you really, in all honesty, I know we got used to a lot of like non-human contact during COVID, and that is one of the biggest disasters to hit humanity that we can imagine that was enforced on us. So it is now clear that there is a commitment and an understanding of the importance of this kind of diplomacy. So I'm not going to guess at the nature of what President Trump and Putin might discuss. I do know that President Trump is doing it for a reason, and that is to accomplish an end to bloodshed and massacres. When you think about it, it's something that has to happen. That is what has always driven him. And with Ukraine, the same situation. You have the president of that country in your house, in the Oval Office. You're supposed to have signed this deal that day when President Zelensky decided that was just not going to happen, I guess. And yet it didn't end the relationship. They meet in Rome. They sit down with each other. And then this happens again. We know this is important to all of us and to those men and the women as well involved in these negotiations. But it is something that is with a goal to solve something. And it's I don't think we should look at the minerals deal as a statement about Russia, or if you talk to Putin on the phone, it's not a statement about something else. Trump has been very clear about his mission, and that is how we should look at through that lens. All right, yes, Andrea, again.
Just a quick follow-up on that. The president did indicate on his way back from the Vatican that he would consider secondary sanctions if Russia kept bombing.
He did.
Russia has kept bombing, hasn't agreed to the ceasefire, and he's now apparently agreed to secondary sanctions on Iran, on people who do oil business with Iran. Is he considering secondary sanctions on Russia?
Well, we know, again, that he's stated his willingness to do that, about the nature of, clearly we're not removing any sanctions that currently exist. The president wants, in every action that we've taken as a nation, to do it diplomatically. That he clearly, because of the commitment to it. And yet, he knows also that there's another part of the world, a whole globe, that needs some attention. And the secretary has also made it very clear that while our style will change, the methodology of how we contribute to this will change, in that we will not be the mediators. That is what I mentioned on Tuesday, and the nature of how this would change is we certainly were still committed to it and will help and do what we can, but we are not going to fly around the world at the drop of a hat to mediate meetings. That it is now between the two parties, and now is the time that they need to present and develop concrete ideas about how this conflict is going to end. It's going to be up to them. Yes, Eric. Eric?
Yes, excuse me. Yes, Tammy, thank you. I wanted to ask, so many times in here we're asking about the day-to-day things, but since we just passed 100 days of the administration, if you could describe kind of writ large what you think the biggest accomplishments of the administration have been on the Russia and Israel fronts, and also what you see as the biggest challenges at this point.
Well, I think it's very simple. It's the fact that the parties are talking. In every single dynamic, the parties are talking. And that is an accomplishment no one else has been able to do. I think this reinvestment fund, this deal that has just been signed, is so critical in that it is going to be generational, and it will make the difference for Ukraine at every stage, and provides a kind of national security that nothing else really could when it comes to the way the world views Ukraine. So I think getting them to the table, changing the idea of the world of what's possible, and this critical minerals deal are three really very big things.
Challenges?
All right. Saeed, would you like to say something, sir? Thanks for your
I wa-
patience.
Thank you very kindly. I just wanted to follow up.
Yes, sir.
For you to clarify.
Yes, sir.
You said that aid was not going in because of security issues, that